Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you.
Hi, I'm Andre. Um, yeah, I assembled that one here. That's without a concrete purpose. It's just to have a big Technic Explorer wall to see a lot of mechanisms and things rotating for the visitors here, for the kids to stand in front of it and hopefully be amazed of what all the things that are rotating and trying to be connected to each other.
No, that's super cool. Not everything has to have like a really crazy story to it. Sometimes you just want to have fun and be creative and just build some cool mechanisms here.
Right. Yeah, but sometimes it's I don't know why it brings the people to look at that. Some of them are asking me, okay, what does it do? What's the purpose of that? Yeah, so you don't ask that if you see a Star Wars layout, which is also just there, and here we have the mechanisms behind. Yeah. And
so we can kind of work through them. So maybe start with this one here. Tell us kind of some of the pieces you used in each of these and kind of what's going on here.
Well, the idea on that one here was that you can see that the gear itself is kind of fixed, and the big yellow one is rotating.
Banana gear.
Yeah. So a planet gear kind of, and while assembling that, I did not have a real target, so I just went on, and if something was not working, I stopped and go in another direction. And if I saw some opportunity to connect it to other topics, like this kind of fan here, then I did it. And so it was growing.
So that connects into this one here then?
That connects into this one, and actually also to that one below, and that is one part of that, and that's driven by one motor. So all in all, that we have six motors from the old power functions. I'm still into the old power functions. It was also the intention, if something breaks, it's running here for 14 hours or something. You never know if it will work like that for that long time. So I can stop these single parts and repair them, and the rest of it's still running.
When you have this many moving parts, it's very important to be able to repair them easily and switch things in and out.
Absolutely. When I tried that at home, let it run for 5 minutes, it works pretty well. Yeah? So yesterday when we set up everything here, so after 10-15 minutes you see the first weak points already, and the axles are going out or whatever, and some things are not working, and then you have to modify it a little bit and make it more robust. But it seems to work very well so far.
So then across the top here is kind of these long Technic arms just kind of all connected up?
Yeah, that was kind of an easy part. So it took me several hours for one of those things until it's really working, and specifically with the yellow gear stuff here, they're not really matching into a pattern where you can put the gear. So it's a lot of try and error. And that one here with these lift arms, that's kind of simple. You just connect the next lift arm and you try, is it working or is it blocking? And then you move the position a little bit, and it's easy to find out, and then get the next one. And then it's at a certain point you just stop it.
So a lot of trial and error, just kind of experimenting.
There's a lot of try and error behind, yeah.
So then how about this one here? This one definitely catches your attention as you're looking at it. What's going on with this?
That was actually the most easiest one to do it. It's just these decentered gear, the 40 teeth gear, which is kind of pushing it with every round. It was very simple to do that, and it was actually one of the last pieces I added here because there was still some space left. But I see already it gets the most of the attraction. I thought people are looking at the complex things, say, hey, wow, how's that doing? But now they look most on that simple thing, say, hey, wow, that's cool. Yeah,
it catches your attention, lots of big movement.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe because it's not a permanent movement, because it's like this alternating thing.
Then how about the one to the right of that one here?
That was a tricky one. As I said before, here it's the opposite. The target was to have the yellow gear not moving, and the stuff inside moving, and also the main gear who's pushing that in the center. It's not really in the center, so it's driven with this belt. You can see the black chain, and the tricky part was how to compensate the movement so that the chain itself gets how to say. Sorry, now I have some problems.
No, that's fine. Yeah, it gets very complicated here.
Yeah. So you need a separate gear to put the tension on the changing chain from.
So kind of figuring that out, how the chain worked with all the gears there.
How the chain. So let me go into that. You can see here that gear is moving and pushing the chain towards the tension. So to have the proper tension.
Okay. That makes sense. So I like how you said this one is all the yellow gear is moving here. It's all moving within the yellow gear. So kind of different.
Right. So that was actually the tie. So the basic thing was this kind of wall that was created, and then to fill it with a lot of interesting stuff that came into my mind, and and it's a never-ending story. So I was already thinking for the next year maybe to extend that, or I'm not sure yet. And at a certain point of time, you stop. And when I was arriving here yesterday, I also started still improving things and adding some things and modifying a little bit, and so you can spend hours there and make it bigger and bigger and actually it looks very big in my home. And now you bring it here in this big hall, and it's surprising how small it suddenly gets.
But it still looks very impressive. There's a lot happening here, so I wanted to point out a few more. So this one here is pretty cool. So this kind of has the big blue wheel, and then what is happening over here?
It's that how to say, this transformation from the rotating movement into that vertical movement. Okay. And yesterday, Matthias from Zusammengebaut, he has already, I put a saw on that and cut some wood or something. It's actually a good idea, so I know what to do for the next exhibition.
Matthias is the real brains behind Zusammengebaut. Yeah, it really keeps the show going.
Yeah. Give some inspiration at least, and then.
No, that's super neat. Then as we move down here, what all is, you got chains, what's happening here?
It's funny. I did not even know that these parts exist. These wheels, these blue wheels there. I found them accidentally in the LEGO online shop, and I thought, okay, they're Technic parts. They look interesting. Maybe I can use them. And then I ordered some of them, and just put them there. I connect them with the chains here, with these chain parts, and also try to get some more, a little bit interesting movements on that part as well, with more rotating positions, and actually the same concept as everywhere else. Just put the parts, set them together, connect them together, and see what will happen then.
So this one here is kind of rotating within the gray circle, but then it moves this multicolored piece out here.
Exactly. And this small colored piece, or this little fan or whatever, that's still also rotating then. And it was always also a challenge to see how fast I would like to rotate this stuff. If it's too fast, I think it's maybe too I don't know, overwhelming, or too fast for a closer look.
You can't follow what's happening.
Exactly, to follow it. And of course, it's more load for the engine and for the gears itself.
You don't want to see like smoke coming out of your head.
Exactly. You see, now it's running for 2 hours today, or 2 or 3 hours. You see already the little dust, the plastic dust on some of the lift arms. So you see that there is some workload behind.
You see that a lot with the Great Ball Contraption videos that we've done. You see a lot of those, the GBC modules, you get a lot of that dust that builds up.
Exactly, yeah.
Another one that definitely catches your attention when you walk up is this one with the yellow arms, and then it's got the red pieces that slide down. It reminds me of like a bike wheel, where you can like have stuff slide up and down on a bike wheel there. So again, lots of movement. It kind of catches your attention.
Exactly. And that was accidentally, I think I got the inspiration somewhere. I've seen that similar thing. I said, okay, let's do that. And it was also very easy to do that. There are just some axles and these red parts that are by gravitation, worked automatically. But it's also catching a lot of attention from the people saying, "Oh, I like that one." Yeah, and so that was a simple one. Yeah? So sometimes the parts getting the most attention were not the most complex ones to build. Yeah?
And lots of chains behind there kind of running to keep all that stuff moving, all the chains back there.
I love these chains, to be honest. So I was wondering how much they can stand, or if I have a lot of spare parts with me. But I love these connections via these old chains. They are there since, I don't know, 40 years available, and so this is one of my favorite connections. So I was thinking to use as much as possible, but not to overload it, so that it's not collapsing or not tearing apart or whatever. And so yeah, I like to watch them, and this is why I kept the whole thing pretty much open. So that you can see really many details. And the engines are behind on the back, but I think you can still see a lot of gear and connections to that stuff. Also, if you're standing from the front and looking on this wall.
That's really cool, and I think it helps the public coming by to kind of learn and see how it comes together, and it becomes kind of an educational experience for the public as well, as they see kind of how you did these contraptions. Maybe they get ideas that they can take home then.
Yeah, sure. It's not the main purpose for the kids to learn, but of course, if they do, that's excellent. And I think you see a lot of mechanical techniques and things that are just interesting. And as you said, yeah, maybe the people, kids or adults, look at that and see, hey, wow, that's interesting, or maybe I can use it for some of my own creations or whatever.
And then in this corner, you've got kind of similar to what we saw at the top earlier as well, with that same idea of just lots of the different arms moving around in all sorts of crazy shapes and formations.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I started with that one here in the middle only. That was the really first thing I've added to this wall. I said, okay, it's very simple. I will put it there, and later on I will finish that. Now let's focus on the complex stuff. And I came back later on and I found that was very, very empty, this corner still. Then I added some more of the lift arms, which was a very simple task, similar like on top. You just add that, see if it's working, if it's blocking somewhere. And then it's a nice movement. Same thing, you can watch it and follow a little bit the path of every... That was the interesting thing for me, if you follow the path of the lift arm. So here's something moving, connected to another one. So how is that movement transferred? And yeah, so it was simple to fill that corner of that wall there.
Well, I love what you've done here. There's so many cool mechanisms. When you brought this to the show, did you bring it all set up like this, or do you just kind of bring all of the frame and then put the different mechanisms in there? How does that work when you bring it to the show?
That was a good question that I asked myself when I assembled that. I said, oh man, I can never transport that. Okay, but I said, okay, let's build it first and then solve the problem later on. And actually, it was surprising simple. I put it on a big big plate, a wood. And I could carry that like that, bring it into my car. Okay. So I opened the trunk and I can just push it in, and it was actually transported like that. And almost no damage on the way here. So it was surprisingly easy to get it here.
Perfect. So are you going to be able to keep an eye on this throughout the show and then just kind of fix things if something breaks down, or kind of hopefully not too much of that happens?
Hopefully not too much, but I have to. It happens still. So it's running quite reliable, but I have to be around here, and if something stops or is breaking, if some gears is not working, then it's easily a horrible noise, a sound, and you have to fix it as soon as possible. And this is why I split it also on these 6 engines, so if something happens I can turn it off and then fix it. But you should be around.
Well, thank you so much for taking us through the whole build here. It's very unique, and I appreciate you bringing it out to the show. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.